Tonight at 8:30 on SABC3 Top Billing, we'll be revealing the details of one of the greatest prizes ever in South Africa. And this morning in the Expresso studio, we have Justin Clark and Simon Bray of privateproperty.co.za, one of the major sponsors who have helped make this prize possible. Gentlemen, welcome to Expresso, and a big thank you on behalf of all the viewers who stand a chance to win this amazing prize.
Pleasure, Ewan. It's good to be here again.
Justin, I want to start with you. On average, house prices adjusted for inflation has been on the decline over the past few years. Since 2010, what does the future look like? Let's take it from next year. Will we see an increase?
That's a great question. I think that it depends whose data you're looking at, first of all. What we've noticed as a trend on our site since 2010 is an increase overall in property values of about 18%. And even more interesting, rental property prices have increased by about 33%. So these are fairly big numbers, and what it shows is that there is certainly a shortfall and there's pressure on the stock in the lower end rentals market. Prices have to move up because more stock has to come back into the market. Developers have to kick in again, and there has to be a creation of stock. That's the one thing. The other thing is that the property moves in a cycle. I think you know that, and it's like betting against summer coming. It's going to happen. It's going to pick up. So, hell, if it was running behind inflation, it would mean that it would be time to jump in and buy, because it means that the curve is going to turn.
Exactly. And Simon, when it comes to the South African property market, especially over the last few years, how attractive has it become for international buyers?
I think a trend internationally is for property portals to explore more international options on their site. So I know a number of portals overseas are partnering together to effectively share listings with one another, which promotes this trade of listings across various countries. In terms of South Africa, certainly there are hotspots for international buying, and Cape Town is one of those hotspots.
And if you consider selling your property, Justin, how do you determine whether to sell locally or sell to an international client? And is that something you need to consider?
Very definitely. I think that you need to make sure that your property gets exposure, especially if you are in an upmarket area like the top billing property is in. You really need to make sure that you get exposure on the websites that are going to give you a result. Of course, it would be very important to make sure that you are on private property. Make sure your agent puts you on private property, or you're selling it yourself there.
And we spoke on occasion that buying a property is a very good investment. Do you think buying in South Africa will still continue to be a really good investment?
Absolutely. Property is it's bricks and mortar. It's as safe as houses. It's tangible. It's going to be in the future. There's lots of people that are not housed yet. We will have a growing economy. I think we're going through a little bit of a glitch at the moment, but the fact is we have far too much to offer, and property is an integral part of a growing economy.
And I mean, buying a home is a really big thing. What advice can you give to South Africans out there wanting to invest in property?
Well, you said something quite interesting. You said buying a home. So there's buying a home and investing in a home. And maybe we should differentiate a little bit between those two. Buying a home tends towards being an investor that's waiting for capital growth. So you're going to live in the house for 10 years and you're going to sell it and probably take the money and upgrade. That is one type of investor. But I'd like to just talk about the other type of investor. And that's an investor that invests for cash flow. And that's a real investor in my view, because that's making a business of buying property. So if you are looking to invest in property and it's a very exciting place to play, then the idea is to buy cash flow generating properties. In other words, don't be tempted to live there yourself. Stick a tenant in and hang on to it. Never sell it, because you might be tempted, because you hear that the 2010 to 2013 figures aren't looking good. But the fact is that the curve will turn, and the benefit of cash flow properties, remember, is that you can leverage your purchase price, so you don't have to have the $500,000 or whatever it is to buy the property. You can borrow from a bank, which is fantastic. Remember that when people talk about the value of the property increasing, they talk about it increasing relative to the full purchase price, not to the actual deposit that you put in.
It really boils down to now it's really a buyer's market at the time.
Yeah, it's always a buyer's market, because there's always opportunity within a market. And right now, yes, I think we sort of towards the end of the buyer's market. All the bank stock and the distressed stock is starting to disappear. All the surplus development stock, which we had a lot of caused by the financial crisis, that's all been absorbed, or mostly been absorbed. And yeah, I think the opportunity is getting towards the end, and unless the international financial crisis kind of worsens, I think that that curve has to turn.
Brilliant, thank you, some good advice. Simon, last question for you. The top billing dream apartment, it is a huge investment to be one. In your own words, how fortunate will that lucky winner be?
It is truly an unbelievable asset that's being built up there. From the fittings that are going into the apartment to the apartment itself, that investment opportunity for anyone is going to be life-changing. Justin's touched on a number of good points about cash flow generation. The truth is, to generate cash flow in property, you have to make a better rental return than the costs of holding that property. And when you get effectively given a property of this value, then the cash flow returns are almost completely profit. So from an investor point of view, this is an unbelievable opportunity for someone to win a great asset.
Man, I'm already...
We're saying that your investment is $1.50 to send the SMS.
And that's nothing compared to what the final prize is. So make sure you don't miss Top Billing tonight on SABC3 at 8:30 to get all the details on the Top Billing Dream Apartment prize. Watch for your clues on the show, and if you SMS the correct answer, you could stand the chance of winning an iPad from privateproperty.co.za tonight and every Thursday until mid-December. Plus, make sure you're in line to win the overall grand prize of the apartment worth more than 5 million rand. That's tonight on Top Billing.
My Top Billing Dream Home, in proud association with Private Property, SA's leading property website.